welcome to Roll for Awesome. This podcast will contain all manner of gaming-related content. Currently, our major project is to have regular recordings of our Dungeons & Dragons campaign. For more updates on what we're working on and to get in touch with us and tell us what you do and don't like, head to www.rollforawesome.net for links to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube accounts. This episode is our first episode of the first season of Stories of Darmanea. Up until now, this podcast has been a bit of an experiment for us, and we thank those who have been patient so far. The short version of the story is that we wanted to do things a bit better in our recordings than what we were, and also we had some technical difficulties. So we have regrouped to make this the official start of our Dungeons & Dragons podcast, Stories of Darmanea. Alright, so this is officially episode 1 of our D&D podcast. So we have done a fair few sessions before this one, as I'm sure some of you may have listened to, but throughout the weeks we've had various technical difficulties, etc., and we are trying to make sure that this is now a bit more polished. So we're basically doing a bit of a wipe.
It's a learning process.
From now. Remember that from
Quality,
now before?
yeah.
Quality
From now.
from now.
From now.
So I'm Kris.
I'm the DM, so my role was to basically, I'm the background to the, why I sort of, I'm the referee for the game. I write a lot of the setting, I play all the characters that are basically part of the game, and not so much, I'm not a player myself. Some DMs play to try and kill their players. I'm not that mean. But basically I've written this setting called Darmanea. So this is very much similar to any other settings such as Lord of the Rings. It's high magic, fantasy races, and we decided on having the characters all start as Nordic Vikings. So they are from a town called Dunkir, or Derneek. I
think it was Dunkir.
Dunkir, and they were very rudely driven from their land.
It's an understatement.
Yeah.
In what was an act of effectively civil war amongst the Nords, with that somehow had kobold allies.
1,000 kobolds.
Yeah, 1,000 kobolds. Kobolds are humanoid. They're kind of like lizard men, but they take their ancestry from dragons, or they at least claim that they do.
They're pathetic and weak, but 1,000 of them.
Yes, they have a lot of strength in numbers. So they drove our party from their lands, and they took off to the east, along with a small band of survivors. And their primary goal was to try and resettle them in another land. They were aware of a town by the name of Sprocket, which is known to be, multicultural, accepting of all cultures, that sort of thing, rather than, the more bigoted human and elvish cities along the way. They had a few close calls on their journey, such as fighting undead druids, and one main key event was an encounter with a wereboar. But after that, they have connected up with a gnome who's heading to Sprocket, who has a delivery and invention.
Smuggled
I was gonna
himself
say-
into Sprocket.
Technically, he went with us. We knew nothing about it.
I suspected.
He's along for the ride, but he has an invention that he's trying to bring to Sprocket as well, and that's pretty much where we're going to pick up. So why don't we go over to Kris, and you can tell us a little bit about your character and your role in the party.
Ooh. Yes, I'm also Kris. Confusing, I know. My character's name is Vanolf Torvesen. Accents. Vanoff is a druid, which is essentially a spellcaster or magic user that has a focus on nature, basically. I think that's the most simplest way to say it. Yeah. His role in the party in particular is healer, and also / support. So he likes to control the battlefield with spells. Pretty much, healer is the main role.
Yeah, that's him. Okay.
Oh, and his flaws. Yeah. Pretty much, as going with the healer, he likes to, in a way, baby his fellow Nords. He doesn't. He treats them. He respects them, but after especially recent events, I don't think he trusts them as much to not get hurt or in trouble. Pretty much.
Okay, Mum.
So, because before most recent events, which was the Web War, he did always was very caring about his kid, made sure everybody was safe, healthy, had everything they needed. But now I think he may be, which would also go into his flaw, which is he is quite prudent. He is so cautious. That's going to play really well into the fact that not only now is he going to watch over his kid so prudently, they're not leaving his sight. Right? If people want to split up, no, none of that. None of that. Vanoff is going to keep an eye on all of them. Everyone is going to be safe, and he is not going to fail again. There will be no wear curses ever again. Vanoff is quite average looking, I guess. Vanoff is quite lean, quite slim. I'd say in comparison to most Nords, he is quite small. Very small. Lean's a good word. He's quite lean. Just brown eyes. By Nord standards, he does have quite short hair. By Nord standards, doesn't necessarily mean he does have short hair.
Clean shaven.
Yes, he is clean shaven, which we put down to that. It's, I guess, part of his ritual, kind of his morning ritual, is meditation. Part of that is to be clean shaven and clean looking, I guess. Not groomed. Well groomed, yes. There is for the short hair that he does, probably about. Let's go with low neck. I don't know how to describe it. About shoulder length, and there is a very small, I guess, usual Nord plait type thing.
Yep.
In there. In terms of what he wears, simple animal skins. He does have a small polar bear skin. That is funny, as you'll hear in a moment. And yeah, just also very simple weapons, just his quarterstaff and a wooden shield.
Okay, my name is Jorick Helgenblack. I am a bard, which is basically an adventurer that gathers stories, history, and information, and basically is a bit of a storyteller, a musician, an all-rounder adventurer. And my particular bard is a support character and a backup warrior, so a bit of an all-rounder, jack of all trades, master of some, and very based on charisma. So I do most of the talking, much to the disdain of my fellow.
Not disdain.
Small annoyance.
At first, when we couldn't speak.
I can't help it if I keep rolling high with my charisma checks. So
I guess the main thing there is that you're the only character who knows Common.
yes,
Which
exactly.
is the common language amongst all the races.
Funny about that. Yeah, so What else? What else, Kris?
All one idea.
4-bond ideal.
Not necessarily as in.
Okay, so basically, for me, my tribe is everything. I'll do anything for my tribe. I would walk 500 miles. I would walk 500 more to make sure that my tribe is safe and family is of utmost importance. I tend to be cocky when the odds are in my favor. So Jorick has long blonde hair and long blonde beard. He is 5'11", 77 kilos, 28 years old, piercing blue eyes, very typical Viking looking bloke. He has blue sleeve tattoos, and generally wears quite noble clothing for a Viking. He likes to keep himself clean, and usually wears like a kind of almost like a cloak, like a green cloak, and carries around his sword and lyre and a large battle horn.
Let's go through everything to do with Ostrom.
Yep.
And why they so desperately need to get to Sprocket.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Am I going?
Yeah.
Okay, right, cool. So Ostrom Varantek is he's a barbarian. So he's a tough, strong warrior. He's built. He's muscles all over. He's the tough guy, the brawn of the group. He uses a hallucinogenic herb called Wild's Touch to enter a controlled state of psychosis in battle, which gives him a reserve of his primal feral strength. He's pretty much the damage sponge and the big hitter in the group. So the front line in combat. So similar to Jorick, he values his tribe above pretty much anything else. However, his tribe, who used to be a secretive nomadic group of hunters and foragers called the Electrop, were slaughtered over a year ago by the same guy that attacked Dunkir, Zolfnir?
Zolfnir.
Yeah. And Ostrom has sworn to bring vengeance on him for this. Having spent many years wandering icy wastes and hunting, he's pretty much a hunter through and through, and he views everything as a hunt, which can sometimes be detrimental. So like I said before, he's pretty well built. He has his hair is actually white and curly, not too long, not super short either.
Like the Witcher.
Curly hair. So
Curly.
yeah. And he is, how old is he? He's 31. That's right, he's 31. He's got pale skin, as to be expected from being in snow all his life. And he wears not much besides a loincloth and large polar bear skin, which is draped pretty much all around him. The head of the polar bear rests on top of his head, kind of like an outer cloak. And he uses, he throws javelins sometimes, but his main weapon in battle is a two-handed maul, which he likes to bludgeon things with.
Yes, he is.
And recently, upon a routine wood gathering trip into the forest,
Yeah, very routine.
An unfamiliar forest.
yeah, well, you know.
Things happen.
We were attacked by a group of boar, one of which turned out to be a wereboar. And in the subsequent chaos that followed, Ostrom was infected with the Werebore curse and is now affected with that. And on the way here, he transformed for the first time. And it started to sort of affect his mindset and his outlook on things, which is the main reason we are hurrying quickly to Sprocket to try and find it.
Yes, in D&D, the were curse is much like any other sort of werewolf story, were curses, except that it also impacts their day-to-day, them as a person, affects their outlook or their alignment, their morality. So
I'm now neutral evil while I'm affected with this curse, which means I basically stop at nothing to get what I want.
This has made the other two Nords quite uncomfortable.
We see a lot of change, and we're double timing to Sprocket.
Especially after that last incident.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's the brawn of the group, so yeah, we'll be in trouble if he goes rogue.
If he wants to go somewhere, I don't actually think we could stop him.
That's all right. I'm just as strong, just not as tough.
and we have Dice with us as well now.
Hero.
But what we'll do is we'll get into the story because he's already in Sprocket and he hasn't actually technically met the other characters yet. We'll get into it, and we'll find him along the way. So, you're traveling northwards through what is the eastern regions of this continent. So it's kind of harsh plains. It's not very fertile. It's not completely barren, but as the farmstead that you left from coming here, there is farming, there is cultivation. You're just packing up and heading off from your last most eventful night, and you're probably only a half a day's ride out from Sprocket. Nearest to you was the township as well, which is what you're pretty much passing as you get back onto the road, and as you travel northward, you pretty much crest a hill, and from there you can see the giant machinery-laden city of Sprocket. So Sprocket is a gnomish city, and the gnomes in this realm basically they love magic and they love engineering, and usually they would live below ground. But Sprocket is basically the base of the city is a giant cog, like engineering cog. You can't really tell what it's made of from this distance, but sort of running perpendicular to that. And I will put this image in the album artwork as well, so that because it is a little bit tricky to describe. But basically, you think of those like old-timey type of globes, those of the world, and there's that line that runs around the equator, and then there's also the vertical line which would keep it in place. So basically you've got the base of this is really hard to describe. Base of the city is sort of resting on the equator, and then you have two concentric cogs which are running over the top of the city in giant arches and crossing over.
Good description.
Yeah. On top of those two crossing over cogs is what looks to be almost like a cart with a spire on top of it, with wheels. So basically, the concentric circles will turn. The cogs that are crossing over will turn, pass by each other, and resting on the very top. It has wheels, so that little building on the top there doesn't move, and it remains in the highest point of that. So I'm just showing them a picture of my
And we don't really know
crazy
what
English.
that's,
You have no idea. You've never seen this before, and this is probably the best picture that you would have ever seen of it, aside from some loose scratchings that you might have found in some history books. It's very confusing for these basically Nordic Viking villagers
Yeah.
and hunters to be coming across this feat of engineering.
Vanoff is uncomfortable, but also intrigued.
Yeah.
Mostly uncomfortable, though.
Yeah, we're more into boats.
That is our engineering.
Yeah.
So traveling with you is Fennec? Is that his name?
I don't know.
Fennec. Sorry,
That sounds right.
his name is Fennec. Traveling with you is Fennec. He's the gnomish inventor, extremely eccentric gentleman. He's got messy black hair. Gnomes are about 4 feet tall, I think. About 4 to 5 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet. So they're a small humanoid, and he's got very messy. You can almost think of like, they're halfling, hobbit, but more elvish because they actually have pointed ears.
They've got kind of like larger eyes than halflings.
Yeah.
Halflings tend to have like a elongated kind of skull at the back, but they don't have that. They've just kind of like all their like their eyes, their nose, and mouth tend to be like fighting for real estate on their face.
So Fennec has a messy black hair, but he has an extremely well groomed moustache and goatee. That just seems to be, every gnome is a bit eccentric. He has like a reddish brown skin, and he doesn't generally say much. And you're traveling with him. He's got his inventions in the back of the cart, and that's basically where you guys are traveling with him. As you draw closer to the city, what you actually see is that the buildings themselves seem to be rotating, and you can make out that there are actually 2 inlaid cogs within another. So the outer cog seems to be rotating clockwise with the outer buildings, and then there's an inner cog which is rotating counterclockwise with the inner buildings. Every now and then the vertical cogs are stopping, and you can see that when it stops at ground level, people are getting in and out through a doorway. So it seems to be some type of transportation or elevator up to the that building on the very top. Because it is a cog, so you have the teeth of the cog. Those are actually bridges from the ground onto the city itself. Between the teeth is actually just looks like a straight drop just into darkness. So to get on from the road, you have to wait for the outer cog to catch up to, and it's going at a very slow pace. But it also seems to be a way that they manage the traffic in and out of the city. You are definitely not alone on the roads now. There's a lot of other carts, and it's getting busier. The din of the noise of the city is starting to pick up.
And there's just one fire giant just down the bottom, or like storm giant just rotating, pushing it.
By the time you reach the base level of Sprocket, then the traffic is moving. So you're at a city. It's completely weird, and you have very little idea of where anything is.
And we can't talk to anyone.
And only one of you can communicate with anyone.
Yes, but I can talk to Fennec.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
And yeah.
I thought we said we had a basic grasp of common.
Yes.
Yes. So you can do the basic. How much I'll buy it. Where is beds? And you can kind of pick it up, where can I sleep? You can't say, where's the nice quality inn?
No, I know. That's what I meant. Like, 'cause we generally had a conversation. I had generally had a conversation with gnomes, but not cohesive combat.
No, yeah. The gnomes, when they started talking about engineering,
Yeah.
that was
I get
completely
that,
lost
but
on you.
it was my understanding that for intents purposes, we know combat.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And your ability to persuade others and intimidate them in common is poor.
I don't need words to intimidate people.
Why don't you go eat a biscuit? Well, what about this guy?
Oh, well, we'll get to him soon. So it looks like most of the guards are orcs or half orcs that you see patrolling around, and most of the people you see, it's a complete mix. It's exactly what you've heard. There's humans, there's halflings, there's gnomes, there's goblins, there's orcs. Elves, as usual, are fairly rare, but you see one or two. No kobolds.
That's
No
what we like to
kobolds.
see.
Yes. No kobolds.
They're not really. They don't really socialize much.
So you would have had this amount of time to talk with Fennec about, I guess, where to find someone to remove the curse.
Right.
Oh yes.
There is in the inner cog a number of that's where the what's the word, the religious sects are.
Yeah, clergies.
The clergies, yeah. So that's where most likely you'll be able to get healing for your curse.
Right. Well, that's where I'm going.
To a cleric.
I'm assuming we are separating from Fennec at this point.
Well, he knows where he's going. He's also going to the central
Okay.
cog, so
we
that
can
he's
keep
going that way.
Cool.
Yeah, because he needs to hand in
Oh yeah,
his.
he's going. He screwed us over, man. You are coming with us to at least go to the cleric, and then yeah.
So he's going to present his invention. They have like presentations regularly to a board of engineers and mages, and this is what you picked up in your travel, was that the gnomes, they will invent something, they'll provide something, some new spell or technology, and they'll use this as a way to buy into, almost like stonemasons amongst the gnomes. It's not a cult, but it's like a university. It's a level of prestige by having provided, and then you
They
go
get
on
tenure.
They get tenure. That's all right. So that's what he's trying to do, and he has invited you to come along as well. So that'll be, he'll go and, I guess, sign up to present it, and he'll be presenting in the afternoon.
It's like he's defending his thesis. Like,
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, him and his brother got denied a couple times so far. So
really? Okay.
this is their big one, that they're making their last attempt to try and, or at least for a while, their attempt to get involved.
Third time's the charm.
Exactly. Fennec continues to drive the cart through.
He's driving now?
Well, he's here now.
It's his car. Beep, beep.
Yeah. So the danger's gone. You guys killed the werewolf and the were rats.
We're pretty suspicious of him before, at least. It's weird for us to be letting him drive now.
No, I'm fine with Fennec.
I mean, you're delivering it technically for his brother who asked you,
Yeah.
and now you're in the city and he knows where to go. So
Yeah.
I mean, he can direct you if you
I'm-
want to drive.
This isn't a car, by the way. This is a horse and coach.
Yes.
I'm good with Fennec.
Yeah.
I didn't understand half of what he said to me, but from his brother, I trust Fennec.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Cool. Right, so he steers the cart around. You pass by. It looks like a lot of fairly standard buildings. There's nothing grabbing from them. There seems to be a lot of guards in this area, though. You see quite a few signs on the buildings. It looks like there's it's almost like this is the drinking water. There's like pub after pub, restaurant, inn, all in this section, and across the basically. So that's the outer side of the cog. On the inner side is some markets and fooderies and stuff like that.
As long as it's been between drinks, I think I'll resist temptation for now. Given the circumstances.
We have more important things to do right now.
Yep. So he continues to go clockwise, and queues up to go from the outer cog to the inner cog. Again, waiting for these teeth to line up, and goes through, and again proceeds clockwise. And this is where you probably get a little bit of motion sickness because now you're going against the direction of the cog. So it's like
Is this thing moving constantly?
very slowly, but it's because you're going opposite to it and the other cog is traveling with you. You're getting very weird perspective further on in the distance where stuff's moving, but relative to what you're walking next to is not moving.
Yeah.
But relative to what you're on is moving quickly.
If I wasn't uncomfortable before, I am now.
Yeah.
Constitution saves.
So it's not. It's, like I said, it's slowly. It's not that bad. And he brings the cart around to very, like it's almost like a row either side of churches. Each more grandiose than last as you push on. Lots of statues to various gods. And you can easily see which ones are, the holier ones. It seems to be that all gods are not so much celebrated, but at least acknowledged around here, including what some would consider the more evil gods, like Grunch, the orc, the god of the orcs, basically.
Kind of like the Greek pantheon, where there are evil ones and there are good ones. So,
yeah.
Well, they're actually all pretty much individuals.
Yeah, they're all just the gods.
They're all flawed. Any of the Norse gods?
No, and
ours are kind of esoteric.
Yeah, generally speaking, your gods are kind of takes on theirs. So it's kind of like you're both takes on the same god. It's just that your warrior god looks like a Nordic guy and has a different name.
Yeah.
It's that sort of pairing up rather than having your own. And also you like the Vikings, they're gods that actually walk the earth rather than being from a different plane, and now just choose not to because humans aren't worthy till they reach Valhalla now. That sort of thing.
Until Ragnarok.
Yeah, Ragnarok. So you can see that one of the churches seems to be a bit more. There's clearly some wounded being taken there. So maybe it serves as a bit of a hospital for the area.
You got to the point where you don't want to get healed?
I'm sort of in two minds about it, but I think the last time we had this discussion, I was still going along with it.
Last time you had a choice, you rolled for highs and lows. Maybe we should do that again.
I'm sure there'll be a moment to come.
Yeah, there will be.
Speaking of which,
Okay, alright then.
It's like you get to the doorway and then it's kind of like, nope.
that's basically it. So, the Fennec, like mad scribbling all through this book. Fennec starts to tend to the mule for a little bit, but as you disembark, he starts to rejig it up and starts to head off to where he's going, leaving you guys in front of the hospital.
Get to business then.
Yes, let us go to the Department of the Good Gods.
I see you guys are doing the accents.
Oh, I just kind of
instinctively.
instinctively. Yeah.
I guess
All right then, we're doing the accents.
Alright then. I will literally go in and out of the accent.
Yeah, as soon as I started being Jorick.
If it's a short phrase, I think I'll do an accent. If it's like a long sentence, nah.
So, Ostrom, your pending cure is facing you, but the wear curse, the dreams and everything else you've been having, the fact that you're now immune to mortal weapons and everything else, kind of making you still not want to.
It's been pretty handy. It has helped.
So why don't you give us a roll to see if you resist the temptation of the wear curse.
He sees the building and it's like that zoom.
That's
thing.
a wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
Why do I suddenly imagine that it's literally like we take like 2 steps forward and he
I have
has
a
a
wonderful
move.
+0 on those. So this is literally a roll of the dice.
Okay.
But time to move.
And I got a 16.
16. So you have a brief sort of moment of like thinking all the things you're giving up, but all the talking that Vanolf has done to try and calm you down and convince you to go through with it comes through.
And this guy.
And that guy.
I think I did most of the talking, half out of guilt and half out of worry.
Yeah. That's true.
You do tend to talk when you're worried.
Yeah, I do.
Cool. So yeah, you head into the hospital. It seems to be mostly run by halflings and humans. They're wearing white. I can't. Oh, do I have a list of deities? I don't. I can't think of the deity for now, but it's a holy god, a healing god.
Pelor. Pelor.
Pelor.
Yeah.
Sure. Sounds good.
Well, Gull Glitter Gold is the god of gnomes. No. Okay. Pelor it is.
No, it's not a gnomish church. The only gnomish church in this city is the Guild of Engineering.
This whole city seems like a gnomish church.
Depends if you're using Greyhawk or Forgotten Realms.
Neither.
But it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
Just,
It's
That's what I do.
Yeah, I know
Just
that too,
any deity that looks
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever works.
Tier.
Yep. So, yeah, number of gurneys, and there's a priest who comes over and says, "Oh, what ails you? You seem. Are you here to visit or here for some other reason?"
I just look at you like.
We have an emergency. Our friend, he has an ailment, and we do not have the powers to fix this. Perhaps we should go somewhere private to talk about it.
He makes a series of gestures and a quick, what looks like a prayer or incantation, and like, "Oh, are you stricken with a curse?"
How much do I understand of that? Because I assume you speak in common.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
you'd have
can
to roll an arcane or religion.
of the what spell he cast?
No,
or-
it was like of what he said. Do I understand what he said?
Probably get the word curse, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you basically got, cursed.
Yeah. I'll nod.
He certainly gestures to Vanolf and Jorick to some pews, which have been set up like a waiting area. He's like, "Please, you may have a seat and wait with your friend, and I can take him to the chamber where we deal with such things."
Thank you. We what was I gonna say? No, it's okay. It's okay. I'll leave it. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for your services.
Thank you.
If there's anything that's
Oh.
what is the payment of this service?
I was just thinking that.
He hasn't asked for anything yet.
No,
But I'm
I'm kind of like.
but I'm playing mutual good, so
Yeah.
I'm still,
So am I. I just kind of look at him like.
I'm still neutral evils.
We treat here of good faith to those in need, and when it comes to such a thing as a dark curse, we see it as our duty to be rid of it. So there is no charge, but in future, should you be able to, we of course accept donations, and there may be ways which you may help us in future.
we would gladly offer our services. We are strong adventurers.
Happy to help.
We have skill.
Oh, you're so cute with your broken English.
I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah. Fun.
Cool.
Fun stuff.
So yeah, you guys take a seat in the waiting area. Ostrom, you're led into a bit of an antechamber, or like a small chapel. There's a stained glass window, and it's you're basically instructed to kneel in the light that's cast from the window, in amongst some circles and some sigils on the floor, and wait. And even still, while you're waiting, you can slowly see shadows from buildings moving past as the cogs keep turning. And he starts his prayer. While you're in that antechamber, we'll cut to you guys. So you got a little bit of time while the ritual's being cast to remove the curse. What do you guys talk about? What do you go on to do next?
I hope this works. He is not sounding well. Speaking in Nord.
Yes,
obviously.
Yeah.
Well, we are in the right place at least.
From what I can understand, they do seem like good people. This should hopefully work.
Well, a game of Nefertofel, perhaps.
Right, Nefertofel is again.
Nefertofel? Brothers?
So in a gurney, you see a large man.
Yes.
Well, I assume large.
6'1". So
6'1". What wounds what encounter do you think was had? The hand still? You just want to go with the
I have
hand?
an arm
Roll
injury
on
at
the
least.
critical injury.
Yeah, so he's bandaged up. He looks pretty good. So it looks like he's pretty much going to get discharged soon. But he picked up on your Nordic.
I'm sorry. Your accent sounds Nord.
Wait, were you
No, he's
speaking in
in
Nordic?
Nordic.
Yes.
I speak. He said brothers Nefertofel. I'm like, do you know Nord?
I am Nord.
Oh,
Dun,
Oh,
dun,
well.
dun.
That's unexpected.
that is quite a
You're talking
that
about
is quite a
unexpected.
coincidence.
You talk about unexpected. I have not seen a Nord for many winters.
Introducing
Holgerd.
Holgerd.
Yep.
Holgerd.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Oh, good.
Brother,
The instant we say
We're gonna have fun with this one.
So this hasn't aired yet. I can cut that bit out. Do you want to pick a new name?
all good.
You are
All
keeping
good.
that. You are keeping that in.
All
You
good.
are keeping all of that in.
Do you know why? Because it's all
All good.
We're terrible people.
That's okay. That is why
I
we
love
do
it.
podcasts.
So what are you?
Okay, my name is Holgerd Snowstrider. I am a ranger. I seem to be the young'un out of the group at 27. 6'1". I've got, compared to Kris's character, extremely short hair for a Nord, because I've been living in Sprocket for a while. It's dirty blonde, and it's a ponytail that comes to the back of my skull, pretty much.
Yeah. Kind of like a bobtail.
Kind of, yeah.
Sounds like Red Now, Vikings. Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
that kind of hair.
Yeah. You can't tell if it was originally blonde and it's very, very dirty hair, or if it is actually dirty blonde hair, but it's one or the other.
He's the filthy man.
Yep. My clothes are pretty much the same. They were white, but they are travel stained, soot stained, battle stained, stained in general. Pretty much like I've been wearing them for years. Patched in places. The only new pieces of equipment are my weapons and my armor. A true adventurer. He cares about two things: what he uses to defend himself and what he uses to attack. Originally, my clan traded with Goliath and with Sprocket. After my clan was killed off in one of the wars years and years ago, well before we had the threat to...
The Zolfnir threat.
Yeah, could have just
Do you know about
a
that?
clan dispute.
A clan dispute.
No,
yeah.
you wouldn't.
Okay, I'll bring
Yeah.
it up.
And so I was lost and tribeless and continued with the only thing I knew, which was trading in Sprocket, and I ended up joining the Adventurers Guild.
Well, does your clan have a name?
It is hard for me to remember.
Okay, was it part of... It was part of, like, the cluster of tribes, was it, that we had in... What was it called? What was our place called?
He left before then.
Well,
Before that was even a thing. Okay,
Yeah.
alright. So that was...
Yeah,
decades ago.
his clan, where you guys are the very northern end, the almost warmish area, his is the southern end.
All
So
right.
his is like bordering on the really arctic, icy area. That's what gave them the advantage of being able to travel and trade with the Goliaths, is that they were pretty much closest proximity. But they're pretty much a far-reaching clan, so there isn't as much structure, more disputes amongst each other, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Would you like to think of a clan name or a tribe name? You're at least better off with the language.
I got mine from actual Nordic mythology and Bergman.
Yeah.
So maybe look that up.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. Or look up Snow Strider in German.
Yeah. Yeah, I did similar,
Yeah.
just looking through
Cool.
translations. Yep. Alrighty.
It is good to see another brother in this land.
Well met.
Well met.
Good.
So what are you doing in this land, brother?
I am trying to get by. My clan is no more. My family is no more. My life is no more. I have no meaning. I am merely trying to help others as part of the Adventurers Guild.
Well, you seem very cheery.
I was going to say, you have a lot in common with us then.
You have an arm injury as well?
We also have lost our home quite recently. That we are currently still in the wake of this disaster.
That is bad news, brother.
Indeed.
What happened? Was it a tribe dispute? Did the giants attack?
Yes.
Little more than a tribe dispute.
Yes, civil war, you could call it.
That is,
Many tribes involved. The Jarls of two different tribe clusters. They had many differences for many years, and finally we were attacked by a force of 1,000 kobolds and his army, and you could say it was a sucker punch.
He used despicable means to defeat us.
well, kobolds and Nords working together, it's not right.
It is a sickening thought, but it happened. And I mean, frankly, we need all the support that we can get.
Which is what we hope to, in this new world to us, try and find.
Well, brother, I will be happy to help. With
As you're talking, Ostrom was brought back in the room, so it's been, I guess, about an hour or so, sharing stories, talking to each other, and
Building rapport.
building rapport, and he's brought back. Ostrom, you feel like a weight is lifted. That's how you, I guess, the feeling of this curse being ridden.
Right.
You don't feel that loss for your indomitable nature,
Yeah.
but you don't feel like you need it either.
As I see him, I just go straight up to him. Ostrom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I'll clap him on the back pretty much as hard as I can.
I think we got Ostrom back. I think he's good.
had no doubt.
Who's this?
Well,
What's the saying? Well met? Is that what was the
yeah, well met.
well met, brother?
Look what we found.
I had not expected to hear that language from someone else other than my companions.
It is a strange day, brother. I am also a Nord.
This is true.
That's excellent news.
He was just speaking of he may know ways to help us.
You clearly know this this city. That would be very valuable to us to have a guide and someone that can try and find some ways to make some money.
Well, brother, that is something that I have been doing for a long time. I know not what to do with it, but I will assist you in your course.
Now that you have heard our story, will you go on then to join us in our quest for vengeance?
Perhaps this could be the purpose that you were seeking.
I mean, it is not much solace if you have lost your entire tribe. I cannot think of anything more devastating, but
I've gone through the same thing.
yes.
It seems we all have.
At least we still have our brothers, but you have obviously lost everyone, and I mean, nothing can bring them back, but at least we can. You can feel like you've accomplished something by helping us in our mission for vengeance.
You will ensure that this does not happen to others.
Yes, I will help you and ensure that my tribe, to ensure that no other tribes will know the feelings that our tribes have felt, and ensure that my clan's name is known to have helped stop this.
Let us build your legacy.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Stories of Darmanea. Next week we learn more about Sprocket and barely start unraveling its many secrets and mysteries. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to our website for all the information on Roll for Awesome and how to get in touch with us and give us any feedback.